Do you remember a couple of episodes ago, I think it was a couple, I was talking about telling the time and how as a child I remember sort of pushing it off. I remember trying to sort of like delay my learning of telling the time because I felt like, I don't know, I'd cross some boundary, I'd cross some point in time and I could never return to if I learned how to tell the time. Well, not so long after recording that episode, it made me, talking about it, made me remember something else from my school days, and that was joined up writing. Well, that's what we would call it in school anyway, but I believe it's like the correct name for this style of writing is cursive writing. Perhaps I should just quickly explain the differences between the two, because the word cursive I don't think is used very often. I don't know, maybe you are familiar with it, I'm not sure. But anyway, sort of regular non-cursive writing just means like every character is separate. If I was to write the word hello, the H-E-L-L and O, none of them would be touching each other. If I was to write this like in a cursive style, then every character, I believe, would be touching each other, would sort of flow into the next character. And in English schools, at least when I was last at school, it's common to learn, I think you always do this, you learn the non-cursive first. So that's the version where none of the characters are touching each other. I remember reading books, and like sometimes those books would like show you how to draw an A and show you how to draw a B and a C and so on. And I remember practicing this in school, and we'd have to write sort of like essays, but it wasn't an essay. I don't think it's an essay. I think it's more of a paragraph, because it was so short. Because when you're children, you don't have the best writing skills or the best, like skills to be able to think of something creative. So we'd write these very, very, very short stories, like just a paragraph long. And I remember writing these, and I was reasonably happy with my writing, because we'd practiced it for a long time, and we'd practice how to make these characters, and I'd put some effort into learning how to do them properly. And you write an F like this with one stroke here and another stroke there, and I was quite happy with the way my writing looked. I mean, I could tell even at that age. I thought, it could be a bit neater, but I'm okay with it. And then this strange thing happened out of nowhere. All of a sudden, it became almost like fashionable. Like the teacher kept talking about joined up writing, this cursive writing. And it was like, okay, now we're just going to forget that old style of writing, and now we're going to do joined up writing. And nobody ever bothered to explain why. And I just remember sitting there thinking, okay, so you can do this like non-joined up writing that I've been doing so far, or you can do the joined up writing. But what is the benefit of the joined up writing? So what the teacher didn't explain, or at least I don't remember the teacher explaining, is I think maybe it might be a bit quicker if you don't have to keep taking your pen off the page. If you can just write in one sort of smooth flowing line, maybe it's quicker, but really not by much, I don't think. And I think sort of like the main reason you do it is it sort of looks fancier. It looks sort of more grown up. I remember thinking, okay, this is the style that grown-ups use. I remember seeing like my parents writing like this, and that's also why I can't read what they write. So anyway, the idea was we would all learn how to write this sort of cursive style, this joined-up writing. And if you could master that, if the teacher said, wow, well done, you've done a good job of this, then they would give you a free pen. And it was like, I think it was like a ball pen, ballpoint pen? I can't remember what they're called now. But anyway, it was this ink pen. And prior to that, before that, every child had been using pencil. And the good thing about a pencil is, if you make a mistake, you can erase it with a rubber. So this is sort of like the upgrade, this is like you've done all the childish writing before. Now you're becoming an adult, you're going on to the next level of writing. You can write in ink, you can write with joined up writing, and that was it. It was meant to be like this great sort of transformation, this great change. That's what I remember it being like. It's like all of a sudden everyone had to do this, everyone had to change what they were doing. And we spent a lot of time learning how to do it. And I had to relearn all these different characters, and you write the L like this weird loopy type thing, and the F is really fancy and curly all of a sudden. And I put a lot of time into doing that as well. And I got sort of to the end of it, and I got my pen. It's like, here's your ink pen. And I was like happy, yeah, I've got an ink pen. Wow, free pen, and that's my pen now. And the teacher said, very good, you can do joined up writing now. And as soon as I got that pen, I didn't use it. And as soon as I got that pen, I went back to the old style of writing. And then the teacher one day saw me and saw that I wasn't using this new joined up writing. And I remember her saying to me, like, what are you doing? You're not using joined up writing anymore. And then I had to explain to her that, to be perfectly honest, I thought that joined up writing was harder to read, and I liked my writing more when I wasn't writing in this joined up writing style. I was the only child in the class who did this, who sort of went, I sort of progressed to the point, made all this progress, and it's like, yep, I can do joined up writing now, and then just went back to my old style of writing, and also to using a pencil. I was the only child who did that, so I guess I was a bit weird. But I could just see the benefits straight away. One, it was a lot easier to read non-joined up writing. And to be perfectly honest, that's exactly the style of writing I still use to this day. I don't do this fancy joined up writing. I can probably, if I force myself to remember how to do it, it's been so long. Actually, the last time I did joined up writing probably was in primary school. I've just said no to it since then. So I can do this joined up writing, but I just think it looks so much clearer if you don't join it up. And I like the way my writing looks. And I think other people find it easier to read my writing too if I don't do this joined up writing, this cursive writing. And also, I went back to the pen because I liked being able to rub out these mistakes. I thought, well, why would I want to use ink? I can't rub out the ink. Yeah. So there you go. I think I was a very unusual child. And I probably still am unusual. I'm not a child anymore. But that previous episode where I was telling you about learning the time really reminded me of this. And it's another weird thing that I'd done, sort of, based around school. There were some other things as well. I can't remember them all, but I think I was quite a weird one, quite an unusual kid. Anyway, I'd love to know what people think. Do you, people listening to this podcast, obviously, I'd love to know what you think, especially if you're someone who doesn't use like the Roman alphabet as your main language. I'd like to know what you think of these different styles of English, because one thing I have noticed since living in Japan, which has absolutely fascinated me, is the amount of people in Japan who can write in cursive joined up English, and they can do it like far better than anyone else I've seen in England, or maybe my grandparents. A long time ago at school, there's like different levels of joined up writing, different levels of cursive writing. There's sort of your very, very basic, like level 1, and then you can go and crazy and start making it even more amazing and more fancy. And my grandparents always had this really, really like fancy way of writing in English. And when I'd get like a birthday card from them or something like that, I would see all this, like these fancy little bits that they add to all of the characters, and it did look nice. And I've seen like Japanese people being able to do this as well. Probably not everyone, but maybe usually a little older as well, like maybe like sort of like middle-aged people. I don't know if younger people get taught this at school or not anymore, but absolutely amazing, like far better than anything I can do. But at the same time, it's a bit unusual because they often can't speak English. but or write English really, but they're amazing at writing these characters, let me tell you. So yeah, I wonder if it's something, if you like this style of writing, if you like this, writing English in this style, if you find it easier to read or harder to read, it would certainly be interesting to hear. I think a part of me does wish that I was better at it, just for times when I'm writing a birthday card or a letter to someone, and it sort of looks nice. It's like an art form, isn't it? You can sort of slow down and just take your time and just write these very nice sort of stylistic cursive writing, and it looks very fancy and things like that. But for sort of like day-to-day writing, for everyday sort of regular writing, I think I do much prefer the non-joined up version, the one that I learned first at school. Okay, until next time, bye bye.